This is Shine Valentine, back today again with a new episode. Today's episode, I want to talk about school teachers and staff members that prey on students. Again, school teachers and staff members that prey on students. Now, I wanted to name this school teachers and staff members that prey on underage students because, of course, you have students in college. But I really want to talk more about staff members and teachers that work at elementary schools and high schools. But an incident that I'm going to bring up in this video happened at Job Corps, and the age range at Job Corps, I think at the time, was 16 to 24, I think, when I went. So of course the students that were over 18 were not underage. So that's the only reason I'm not going to name it underage students. But however, I'm mainly talking about staff members and teachers in elementary schools and high schools and how they prey on some students. And before I get into that, the reason I want to talk about this anyway, but then this R. Kelly thing and people saying that the young women wanted it and the young women are taught to go after older men with money. So then why do you expect him to have morals when your daughter's walking around half naked? And see, I'm hearing a bunch of excuses. I didn't say that they should have the young ladies walking around half naked and all that. Of course they shouldn't have the underage daughter dressing like that. But it just seems like in this society, they don't hold certain people accountable for their actions a lot of times. I'm just going to say that. Whoever they represent. So if they're a woman, they defend them. If they're a man, they defend men. If they're black, they defend black people. If they're white, they defend white people. If they're a black male, they defend black male. If they're a black woman, they defend black women. If they're a white woman, they defend white women. I'm tired of it. What about defending right from wrong? So when I want to decide who should be responsible for different things, I usually go with the adult in the situation. So let me use myself as an example. For some of these people saying that, oh, well, like with the R. Kelly thing or with older people and younger people, well, the younger person wanted it. They found them to be attractive. Have any of you all, when you all were younger, in elementary school and even high school, I don't know if some people are in high school, but if you're out of high school now, did you ever have a crush on a teacher? Did you ever have an older sibling and think one of their friends was attractive? Most people have. Was there ever an older neighbor that you thought was handsome or pretty? Okay, but so based upon these people's logic, if that person found out you thought they were pretty or handsome, they're saying this person should have had sex with you. That's what they're saying. And that they shouldn't be really held accountable because you thought they were cute. And I disagree with that. So I'm going to use myself as an example because I'm an adult and I should be held accountable for my actions as an adult. It doesn't matter that an underage person found me cute. That does not give me a right to take advantage of them, and that is exactly what's happening. Okay? So I'm going to get into example of incident I had and another person, and then I'm going to get into some of these school teachers and staff members that prey upon students. So this video might be about 30 minutes, so get you some popcorn and enjoy. Okay. So I'm 34 now. So when I was around 31 or 32, I lived somewhere else, and I went to the local library sometimes because I like to read, and sometimes I would get on the internet there, but I had a computer at the house, but sometimes I didn't want to be in the house by myself on the internet. So I go to the library and I just wanted to be around people. So one day I was there. It was a young man sitting at the computer in the computer area, and it was another young guy standing over him talking to him. The guy standing over talking to him was being rude and loud. Not being rude to him, but he was just loud because everyone was at the computer quiet on the internet, and you're supposed to be quiet in the library. So next to them was a woman that looked around my age, 31, 32, and she said to the young man standing up, she said, oh, why are you talking so loud? We all over here quiet on the internet. And she started talking to them and asking them were they going to college, how old they were. She said she was a teacher, and they said they didn't want to go to college. And these were two young black males, by the way. That don't mean anything. I'm just telling you. And she was black too. Just saying. And it doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying the race. And the guy who was sitting down next to her, he said, I don't want to go to college. And she said, well, why not? You might meet your future wife there. And he said, I don't want to get married. So I just want to let some of you women know, young women, that, yeah, there's some men, 2019 men don't even they don't even want to be married. So anyway, I found that interesting though. But hold on, I had to get a drink of water, so let me try to make this quick. So that was the end of that. That was that day. So I just remember the young man who was standing up. About a month later, I go to that same library, sitting down at the internet, at the computer rather. I said at the internet. I was on the computer. Yeah. Anyway, so it was some people on a computer, some computers across from me, diagonal, and it was a young man and a young lady sitting down, and then it was that same guy who was talking to the month before, who was talking to that other gentleman, the young man who was standing up. He was at the library that day that I came back a month later, talking to another young man. This is a different young man and a woman. The woman and the young man was sitting down, and he was once again standing up, talking to them. So I'm like, this is the same young gentleman. So the young guy who was standing up came and sat next to me, and I heard them, they'd start laughing. So I knew he was up to no good. So he sat next to me. I wouldn't look at him because I just felt something wasn't right. So I see him, I kind of looked over at his computer. He logged in, but he really wasn't doing much on it. And I noticed when I looked at the young guy and girl diagonal to me, they kept looking at him, laughing at him and shaking their head. So I see that he had a piece of paper in his hand. He started writing on it, and then he slowly slid it towards me. And I said, oh my God. He looked young, like you all. He looked in high school. I could tell. Mind you, I was 31, 32 at the time. He slid it towards me, and they kept laughing. Then he eventually got up and walked off. And he went over there and started talking to them again. So eventually they left out the library about 30 minutes later. So I eventually looked down at the piece of paper, and you know what it said? It said email me, and it had his damn email. Had his email address on there on a piece of paper. So he was trying to come on to me. So I left the paper there. I was just like, this is a complete joke. So I got up and walked out. I'm thinking they're gone. As I'm leaving at the library, not him, not the young man who tried to give me his email address, the other gentleman that was sitting down that he was talking to was outside by himself. And he said, as I walked past him, he said, excuse me. He said, did you see that young guy try to give you his email address? Did he try to talk to you? He said something like that. I said, yeah, he did. He wrote his email address on a piece of paper and gave it to me. He said, yeah. He said, he's only 17. And he said he doesn't even have a phone number. He doesn't even have a cell phone. And I said, oh, really? But most 17-year-olds have cell phones by now, right? And he said he doesn't even have a cell phone. He's only 17. He only has an email address. And he started laughing. I said, well, look, you tell him that he's too young for me. I am 31. Let's say I was 31 at the time. I'm 31 years old. I'm old enough to be his mother. He said, oh, okay. He said, well, I'm 21. Am I old enough for you? And I turned and looked at him. I don't know if he was lying about being 21 or not. I think he could have been, but he looked like he could have been 17 too, but lying to say he's 21 because I wouldn't give someone a shot that was that young. I said, you're still too young for me. So have a nice day. And he had this weird look on his face, and I walked off. Okay, now, based upon these individuals' logic, I was supposed to try to have intercourse with this possible 21-year-old, but he probably was 17, just lying, and also the 17-year-old in the library. Based upon their logic, because they was attracted to me, and they thought I was cute. So I was supposed to have sex with these two young men, based upon their logic with the R. Kelly thing, because they were down and they was willing to do it. That's not how. I am a grown woman with morals and integrity, okay? And I'm supposed to be the responsible person. I would never do something like that anyway. That's disgusting to me. That's like being a pedophile. I would never, and even though the 21-year-old was allegedly a vet, still, I would not, that's not me. I'm not doing it. I'm supposed to be held accountable for my actions. I am the adult. You're talking about a 31-year-old woman, a 17-year-old underage young gentleman, a young man. I would never do anything like that. I'm held accountable for my damn actions. I don't want to hear about, oh, they wanted it. No. You are the damn adult. They're not in their right damn mind. I'm sorry, they were not in their right mind trying to talk to a 30-some-year-old woman. Okay, so it's up to me to have boundaries. You can't leave it up to a child. They don't know. You might say that's not a child, 21. I get what you're saying, but to me, yeah, 21 is still young. It's very young compared to a 31-year-old. Sorry. So, next incident, based upon these people's logic, this older gentleman should have had sex with these girls. So when I was in elementary school, when I was when I was 11, I was in class. No, I wasn't in class. We left out the classroom and we had to make a single file line on the staircase, and the girls had to be on the right side of the staircase and the young boys had to be on the left side of the staircase. And we was waiting for our instructions from my teacher to keep, walking onto the floor and go to our classroom, but we were waiting on the staircase for some reason, so we had to stand either on the far right, the girls, or the far left for the gentlemen, so people can walk up and down the stairs. So out of nowhere, it's this guy that worked there. I don't know if I know he was a staff member, but I don't think he was a teacher. He happened to be attractive. And that's another thing. Just because you're young, it doesn't mean you don't know when someone's attractive that's older. Like, let's stop. Like I said, people have had crushes on older people. Just because a young person has a crush on an older person, does that mean that older person is supposed to take advantage of this younger person who don't know any better? They just see a cute person. They don't know any better, but you as the older person, you fucking know better. Excuse my language, you know better. So this man looked, at the time, probably in his 30s. We were 11. So he was handsome, and he walked in front of the staircase, in front of the stairs, and stood there for a second. I think he was going to walk down the stairs. But before he started walking down the stairs, about nearly all the girls, except for me and a couple other ones, started screaming, "He is so cute!" And they started turning towards the wall and trying to cover their face up because they thought he was so fine they couldn't even look at him. These were 11-year-old girls. "Oh my God, he's so cute!" And they just started. I'm not making this up. They started screaming like he was a rock star. I mean, he was cute, but he was alright. But they started screaming like he was a rock star. Like I said, this staff member looked about 30, and I remember. This day like it was yesterday. I was 11. I know the girls in that group was between 10 or 11 or 12, because some people are different ages in the class. I know I was 11. Most of the other girls were 11. You might have had one or two that was 12 in that class. Okay. And they were screaming, "He is so cute, oh my God," and turning towards the wall. And I'm just staring at them. They almost pushed me out the line because they were like pushing, like they were turning their back and kind of trying to bend down behind a girl in front of them, not look at him, but to keep screaming, "Oh, he's so cute." And so based upon these people's logic, he was supposed to have sex with these 11-year-old girls. So he saw that these underage young children, not even girls, children, were screaming, saying how cute he was. And so he's supposed to, based upon their logic, have sex with him, rape him. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I looked at him because they was pushing me out the line, screaming about him and trying to move behind the girls who were standing straight up, because we were supposed to stand straight up in line. They were bending down behind us, screaming to me how fine he was. "Oh, he's so cute," and screaming. So they almost pushed me out the line, another girl, and I just stared at him because I was embarrassed. I was just embarrassed at the way they were acting. And I remember when I looked at him, he had a serious look on his face. He wasn't smiling. He didn't think it was cute that these little 11-year-old girls thought he was cute. He knows we're just children, okay? That doesn't mean because they think he was cute, he's supposed to pull his pants down and ask him to suck it, pull his pants down and pull his penis out and ask him to suck it. Is that what but is that what they're trying to say? So I had to get another drink of water. Let me get to these staff members. So when I was in high school, there was a swim teacher who was a male. Now I remember me and a guy was talking about how who went to high school with me, saying how they thought it was strange that the swim teacher, it was a male swim teacher for the girls' swim team. And these young girls on that swim team were in shape. They were athletic, and the ones I seen was pretty, and he was a swim teacher. It was rumors going around that he was having sex with some of the students on the swim team, and I found out he allegedly had sex with 2 of them. Okay, now it doesn't end there. He was having intercourse with 2 of the girls that we knew of on the swim team. And this is the swim teacher, the male swim teacher that was the coach for a female teenage swim team, okay, in high school. And then years later, I just found out that he committed suicide because he stole over $400,000 from the school. He worked with technology. He was a coach of the swim team, but he also did other things for the school, and he found the loophole because he's a shysty individual, and he stole $400,000. They found that he stole $400,000, slowly over time. And when they was gonna prosecute him, he committed suicide, and it got around to all the people who went to that school. Okay, so that's one teacher that I knew. Another teacher that I knew. Now, I want to explain something to you all. I went to a mostly Hispanic high school, so the teachers, the races ranged, but there wasn't as many black students, and it wasn't at all many black teachers. So from what I can remember, it was 2 black male teachers, and I remember maybe 3 female black teachers. So it was only 2 male black teachers in that whole school, and it made me mad at one point because one of these male teachers did something very messed up. So one of the black male teachers, one thing he used to do is a girl I knew that oh, sorry everybody, I got distracted. So I thought I heard something. This dog outside. Okay, so it was one black male teacher, and this is what he did. So he would get a group of girls, black girls, that there wasn't that many of us that went to that school, and I think after school or whatever, he would show them his wedding album, wedding pictures of him and his wife, and he would have grapes and snacks for them, and he was basically grooming them. I don't know why he was showing them pictures of his wife. So basically what we found out, he had sex with one girl at the school. She was black, and then he had sex with another girl. Now this other girl, he was driving, I think, a Lexus at the time. He was letting her drive his car. He would have this teenage girl in the passenger side when he would pick up his kids. Yes, he was married to a black woman. He was black, and he was cheating on her with high school girls and probably grown women too. And one of the high school girls that he was cheating on her with, he would have her in his car, and when he's picking up his child by his wife. And then at times he would have her driving the car by herself. And some of the girls that went to school with us, they hung out with this young girl that he was sleeping with, and they stayed, like, one of the girls stayed next door to her, so they all were over her house one day, and they said they saw him out front of her house waiting on her, and he was trying to, they said, slide down the seat so no one would notice who he was, but they noticed his car. Okay, now it's only 2 black male teachers at this school, but yeah, one of them got to be a pervert. You see what I'm saying? It's just embarrassing. So word got around. His wife found out that he was messing around with this young girl. Her kid came home and told her, one of her kids came home and told her that daddy has a girl in the car when he picks me up sometimes. And the kid spilled the beans on him, which is what the kid should have done. So his wife called up to the school and told the principal what her husband was doing. And instead of them firing him, y'all, something fell and scared the hell out of me. Instead of them firing him, they basically, they fired him, but they kind of gave him promotion. They told him he had to leave that school, but they told him they transferred him to another school where he became a principal at a different school. So they rewarded him for bad behavior. And now when it came to me, I remember I got an award. We had an award ceremony in an auditorium, and I remember he was my division teacher at one point. He told me one day, he said, "Oh, I seen you get your award." He said, you walked across the stage with your head held high with such pride." And I said, "Thank you." He never came on to me because, see, I gave off a vibe of, I'm going to tell on you. And I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the story, but everyone, he was handsome. He was a handsome older black guy, like, and he wasn't actually old at the time. It's just I was quite young, and I knew he was handsome, and I said to myself, my mother would like him. And so when she went to pick up my report card, he was my division teacher at that particular time. I remember the division teachers were in the cafeteria, and I stayed in the hallway while my mother went in and get my report card so she could talk to him. And when she came out, she said, "Oh, he's kind of cute." I said, "I already knew it," but she didn't know that this man was married and that he also was sleeping with students. That's one story. Now, when I was in Job Corps, okay, every Monday, all the students would have to go into the gym, every student on that campus. will have to go into the gym, and the dean, or whatever you want to call him, the principal over Job Corps, or whatever he was called, will speak to everyone and talk about what things are going to go on for the week, and just talk about different things, student issues. So it was this one guy that worked there. He was not a teacher. When I went to Job Corps, the first week was orientation. You had to do a urine test and things like that. So I remember he was the person that the students went to do their urine tests, or excuse me, their drug tests, but they tested you through urination. I said urine test, whatever. So I remember during the test, when he seemed to be ragging on the young men there. I just remember him talking about one guy's urine and saying it didn't look right, and he just was being mean to the young guys. I remember when we went to take our drug test. So I just remember that this man. So anyway, so I only saw him one time. Well, no, I saw him that once when I had to take my drug test, and everyone had to who entered Job Corps. And then I saw him again. I would see him regularly on Mondays, because when all the students would leave out the gym room after the meeting, him and the other staff members would sometimes, because the gym room was in the rec center. So when we leave out the gym room, all the students at Job Corps, coming out, all 100 students, he would be sitting outside in the rec area, just watching all the students walk past. So the only interaction he had with students was on Mondays, or if he was walking around campus, or when we first entered Job Corps and when we had to do our drug test, he's the one that tested the urine. Okay, so other than that, he had no other dealings with the students. So one day I was coming out of the gym room after our Monday meeting. Once again, he was sitting there, and he said, "Cheyenne, can you come in for a second?" I walked over to him. He said, so we had roll call every morning. We had roll call, I think, 3 times a day, in the morning and afternoon. No, we had roll call twice a day, in the morning and in the afternoon. What they did, you had to come in the hallway, had to count you to make sure you were in the dormitory by a certain time, and then lights was out. So after, I think we got out of our classes at 4 p.m. I'm not sure, and then we could kind of do whatever we wanted to do until like 9 or whatever. So after the meetings on Monday, we would then go to our classes, and then after our classes, we would go to our dormitory if we wanted to, and then we were free till about 9 o'clock. So as I'm walking out of the gym room, he says, "Cheyenne, come here for a second." Now, he's a person in authority over me. I knew that he did the drug test, but I knew he was a staff member, so I automatically just walked over to him. He said, after you get out of your classes for today, I need for you to come to my office. I need to talk to you. Hold on. I said, "You need to talk to me." He said, "Yeah, after 4 o'clock, because 4 o'clock I think is when our classes our classes were over by 4 o'clock, and we were back into our dorms by that time. So he knew at 4 o'clock I would be free." He said after 4 o'clock, or I think he said at 4 o'clock, "Can you come to my office? I need to talk to you about something." I said, "Oh," and I said, "Am I in trouble, or am I in trouble about anything? Is there a problem?" He said, "No, you're not." And he laughed. He said, "You're not in trouble He said, "You're not in trouble." He said, "No, I just need you to come to my office at 4 o'clock when you're done with doing everything that you have to do." I said, okay, then fine. So I left, and I just had a weird feeling. I knew something wasn't right, because he couldn't tell me why he wanted me to come to his office. Now, let me describe what this man looked like. He looked like he was in his late 40s. I think he wore glasses. I'm not sure. He was a black guy, low haircut. He looked very unattractive in the face, and he was about 300 pounds, maybe 300 pounds. He looked kind of like Bruce the comedian, but maybe not as big. And I think Bruce looked better than him in the face, to be honest with you, if that's his name, Bruce the comedian. So in my opinion, very unattractive man. So it was just weird to me why he couldn't tell me, because most of the adults and the staff members at Job Corps would tell me what they needed me to come to their office about, what the issue was. But I asked him, why did he need me to come to his office after 4? Now, let me explain to you another thing why I felt uncomfortable, because whenever there was an issue with a staff member or anything went on, they would always go to my RA. The RA that was over that dorm that I was in, which was an adult. The other adult would come to that RA and say, well, I need to talk to Cheyenne about this, or this is what happened, that's what happened. They would come to them in regards to us. So they would never, I mean, it was some shiesty individuals that worked there, but if he needed to talk to me about something, normally what would have happened, my RA would have already told me, or my RA would have said, well, let's say his name John needs you to come to his office at 4 because you need to sign some paperwork or this or that. He couldn't, he just said come to his office. And so the thing was, after the day was over and it was 4 o'clock, I said, I'm not going. I did not feel right about it. I did not go. So I knew if I didn't go and if it was legitimate, I would have been in trouble. That would have showed me that he had something legitimate that he wanted to talk to me about. So I purposely didn't go just to see what happened if I didn't go to his office at 4. So like I said, he's not someone I would see regularly because he only dealt with the drug test. So only the drug test. And like I said, he would just sit in the hallway when we would leave out the auditorium every Monday after the big meeting. So then following Monday, I hadn't seen him all week after he asked me to, that Monday when he asked me to come to his office, I didn't see him all week because it was no reason to see him. And then Monday came, and once again we had our meeting in the gym, excuse me, not the auditorium, in the gym room. And then we left out the gym room, and he was sitting out there, and he looked at me, I looked at him, and he didn't say nothing to me. Nothing. So that's when I knew he was full of, shit. I knew he was up to no good. Okay? Because if had there been a problem, he said, why did you not come to my office at 4? I'm gonna have to talk to your RA because you're supposed to sign these paperwork. No, because he was on some bullshit. Now you all might say, well, he probably wasn't. I don't have proof. No, I don't have proof. But to me, the proof is in the pudding. I know how Job Corps worked. Had I didn't go to his office and was something important, he would have either confronted me again or he went to my RA and I would have got in trouble. He never said nothing else to me after that day. Okay? Tell me another drink of water. So, I mean, I could tell you countless stories. There was another teacher that worked at Job Corps. We had to, I'm not against everything that happened, but he tried to talk to a couple females. He was married. He tried to talk to a couple females, young students at that Job Corps. And it just, a lot of stuff went on, but he did. I remember I had a gay friend that I was friends with at Job Corps, and he even talked about because I think it was a lady who came to us about an incident with a teacher, and she wanted us to write a report on him. And she said it was another teacher who was male she was trying to get students to confess about too. And so they wanted us to write this letter to the higher ups at Job Corps about this particular teacher. And so my gay male friend, I'm bringing up he's gay for a reason, he mentioned another male teacher that was sleeping with male students. See, I didn't know because I wouldn't know that, right? So, and he said, what about students? He said, we have teachers here that's sitting on students' laps. And I'm like, well, who are you talking about? And he started describing the guy. I said, well, I don't know this guy. And that's because the guy was gay. So he wouldn't be coming on to me. So I didn't know. So one day I think I seen who he was, and he was kind of it was a guy that liked me. And well, we liked each other in Job Corps, and we was talking one day, kind of off in a cut. And this guy was black. I think he was gay. He was a staff member. He came over to the guy and started talking to him all in his face, but he acted like I wasn't standing there, almost how a female would do. He just walked over to him, just staring at him, and how he was looking at him, I had a weird feeling. And he eventually turned to me and said, oh, well, how are you doing, young lady? But he acted he acted as if I wasn't even standing there. And so when my friend described the guy who he said was sleeping with male students and giving them money and riding them around his car, having sex with them, I didn't know who he was talking about. So when he gave me the description, and I remember when me and this guy was over in a cut talking, having a little private time talking, I remember when that guy walked over, that he fit the description of the guy my gay male friend was telling me about. So you had all, yeah, it don't matter what your sexual preference is. These people are preying on students, and whether they're gay or straight. Okay. Let me think. Is another incident when I was in high school. Now let's talk about a female that did this. It was a female staff member, and I think she was a janitor. And I remember I had male friends, obviously, in high school, and one of them told me that one of our male friends, let's say his name was Dustin. He said Dustin slept with this particular lady. She would ride on she would take public transportation with us. I'm thinking she was in her late 20s. Because that's how she looked. She told our friend Dustin to not tell anybody that him and her had sex. Now, we were, like I said, we were in high school. He was not 18 yet. I think he was between 15 and 17 at the time. Okay, because some people are 18 in high school, but he was not 18. Okay, and she told him, she knew he wasn't 18. And I'm pretty sure in their clause they're not supposed to, date students anyway, on top of the age. They're underage. So she told him, do not tell anybody that we had intercourse. And he told anyway. So when we would see her get on the bus with us, they would, oh, that's the lady that, our friend Dustin slept with. And it's funny how things happen, because fast forward now, Dustin, he's 34 dating a 21-year-old. So, and he used to always seem to go out to younger women as he got older, which I don't know if it's because he maybe got exposed to older women when he was younger. I don't know. But females do this too. We've seen the countless female teachers that has gone to jail, and so it's men and women doing it. Okay, I'm not just putting on one gender. Let me see. Is there any other stories? I know a male security guard at my high school that was messing around with students. I mean, I know we all have countless stories about staff members and school teachers preying on students. So you might say, why did I make this video? I made this video because I want people who are listening to this that have children that are in elementary school and high school to protect your children. Okay, the culture is getting worse and worse to where we're making excuses for adults who molest, prey on, and pursue children. And just because someone that's younger than you thinks that you're cute does not give you the right to take advantage of them and have intercourse with them. I gave myself as an example of a younger guy or guys coming on to me, and I showed you how I handle it. And I expect a man to do the same thing if a younger girl came on to him. Now, you might say, I have too high expectations. That's fine. Well, then just go to jail then. For the people that say that my expectations is too high of men who are older to turn down an underage young girl if she pursued him and said he was cute and all that, then just go to jail. And I hope you go to fucking jail. Excuse my language. That's where the hell you deserve to go. Because if that was your daughter, you wouldn't be saying all that. Okay? That was your granddaughter, your niece, and an older guy. She thought an older guy was cute, and he found out, and he said, well, come on with it. You wouldn't like that. And you know it's wrong. Okay, if it's wrong for a woman to do it, and if a younger guy wants her, and if it's wrong for her to do it if he's underage, then it's wrong for you to do it. Okay? And if you say my expectation is too high, then you can say that all you want to. Just go to jail, because that's where the hell you belong. The adult in the situation is responsible. And I have seen, and I have way more stories, but I want this video. This video is already 30-some minutes. I have way more stories of students, of school teachers and staff members preying on students. The list will go on and on and on. This is just a couple of them. You all I want to say is, please protect your children. They are precious, and do not let these adults take their innocence from them.